portion of the cemetery is the oldest. We started it in the 40s because we were burying people from our congregation in Boston because we didn't have a cemetery. So Uncle Henry donated the cemetery to us, which was lovely, kind of him, and his whole family are buried there now because of that. You know, because we had a place. And that's Henry and May Cronin. Henry, the one that donated the cemetery. And as we go along this aisle, is Harry Pearlstein, who did all the lawyer work for us when we first opened the center for no charge. So that's him, his wife Irene, and daughter, I call her by her nickname.
Jusina?
Drosna. It's Drosna. Yeah.
And now tell me about Harry Pearlstein. What was he like?
He was a lovely man, just as kind and sweet, and did work for nothing for the center. His wife was a bit of a tough girl. She was a lawyer too, but she never practiced because they had 4 children, and so she just lived here as a mother. But they were as opposite as day and night. He was just as sweet and kind, always. On this side, is Irving Krigler and Frida. They had a little fruit stand in Oak Bluffs. And I always used to feel so bad because nobody came to visit. You see, if people come to visit, they put a stone. That means they've been to visit. So somebody at the beginning had a lot of white stones, a lot of beach stones, little bitty ones, that a family must have picked up. So I took 6 of them and put one on each grave that was never visited.
Now, did they live in Oak Bluffs?
They did. They lived right on the harbor.
And were they members of the...
Right from the beginning. Yeah, most of these people were right from the beginning, and that's why this section is the oldest. So, because mostly we don't allow new people to be buried in this section.
And where had they come from? Do you know where
New Bedford is where their nephew lived, so I'm assuming that's where they came from to begin with. Well, I knew them when I was a little kid. They had this nice fruit stand, and you paid them a nickel or a dime for a peach, and you were happy, because you had a nice piece of fruit. And you could walk around Circuit Avenue and look at the stores. And this one, Kessenbaum, she had a rooming house on Narragansett Avenue in Oak Bluff, and my mother and father had their 25th wedding anniversary at their rooming house because she was a kosher cook, and a lot of their guests were. So they did a lovely, I remember it, and Ann and I wore evening gowns even though it was in the afternoon because it was such a big occasion. And her husband, I think he was buried first, 68. Yeah, she was buried first, right. And it was only because she was a member for so long. He never did anything, actually.
And where did they come from?
Oh, they were Shirley Frisch's parents. They came from New Bedford. Yeah, Shirley Frisch was their daughter. There's Collie, and his wife will be entered soon. They waited for a year, usually a year, 11 months. Well, you pray for them for 11 months till you're sure they're in the right place, and then they inscribe it then, and they have a ceremony if they want to. They don't now if they don't want to.
But in the olden days, there was always a few different ceremonies?
Oh, sure. At 11 months, you had what they call, an opening, what do they call it?
It's when usually you put the gravestone on, and it would be the unveiling.
Unveiling. I knew there was a special word.
There's already a gravestone, so that her name would be engraved on it after that.
Yeah.
Back over there it says Grace and
I'm sorry?
Mac. Who's Grace and Mac?
Oh, Grace Mack.
Oh, Grace Mack, my Aunt May's sister, and she came every summer and stayed all summer, and she was a very comical woman, very good sense of humor. So when they asked could she be part of their space, there was still that one space behind the stone And so they said, of course. And she was worth it. She was the funniest thing. She had a rooming house in New York on 3rd Avenue. And one day, Aunt May was quite insistent on things being just right. And she said, Grace, there's a fly in the dining room. So Grace responded as quick as could be, so set a place for it.